Welcome to the world famous Hockenheim Ring for the next round of the FIA and FIM European Drag Racing Championship. As you can see, beautiful weather, so beautiful, over 40 degrees in qualifying yesterday, but still the crowd absolutely love it, as you can hear. Things have moved on in the championship a little bit since we've been to Santa Bod. Everybody's been round Scandinavia, but the main players are still the same. FIA Top Fuel, Anita Merkula, Mickey Kagarad and Stig Nergaard in an absolute bun fight for the European Top Fuel Championship. Also in Pro Modified, still absolutely level pegging at the top. It's going to be anybody's race here this weekend as well. New racetrack to contend with, expertly prepared. Let's see what the weekend brings. Well, Jerry Lackey and his whole team have set up a great home event for a lot of German racers to come and run in front of the home crowd. As home race at Hockenheim, always a lot of friends, family, sponsors, but you've got extra pressure this weekend. Your little girl's going to be driving your car.
Yeah, it's normally we have a lot of pressure here because a lot of guests, friends, families are here. They keep me busy, and then this time we want to make this license runs with India in this same car. And everybody asks, so that's keep us busy.
How nervous are you about getting her in your car?
Yeah, the thing is, when she grows up, I always think, I hope she will drive a car like this or a bike like we have and stuff like that. But she grows up with the sport and she has no fear from the car because, you know, she was always with us. And then we do that in the States and works very well. And I think she can do that. I'm not so nervous right now. I was nervous in the States when she drives this A-fuel licensing.
And this weekend, India, obviously, you've been to the States and driven an A-fuel car. You're taking the keys to your dad's car. Now, normally, when daughters take their dad's cars, it's nothing like an 8,000 horsepower top fuel car. How do you feel about it?
It's a really special feeling. I don't know how to feel about it. I never stopped before in a top fuel. I mean, it's a big difference between A-fuel and top fuel, but I'm really excited. Yesterday evening, I've been watching with Dad the intro of the NitrOlympx, and I saw the license of the A-fuel again, and then I said, okay, yes, tomorrow I can drive. Maybe I can drive tomorrow. Yeah.
What does your mum and what does your wife think about this?
That's a problem.
Yeah, this is the biggest problem.
Yeah, that's really hard.
Not so happy with this point.
She's not so happy with that. I'm actually also not really so happy with that, so we'll figure out first how it works, but maybe, yeah, she do it well, so look forward for next year.
Yeah.
Here in the Pro Mod pits with Bruno Barda on a scorching day in Hockenheim. Bruno, how has 2015 been for you? You've raced at every round of the championship, and now it's time for your home race.
Yeah, we was very lucky this year. We have to make a lot of rounds in elimination, and here in Hockenheim it's also, we have a lot of friends here. They come to look for us, and it's great here to race in Hockenheim.
And this year as well, there are 5 Pro Modified cars from Switzerland. For years you've been the only one. It must be fun.
Yes, it's also very nice for me that all the guys take his car out and go to the big races like me. Normals only go to small races, but here you have better traction than at the small races. We have not so luck with the weather this weekend, it's too hot, but we make the best.
Timo, I know this is your home race in Germany, but the track, the crowd, the weather this weekend must be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's unbelievable because the last years it was not that good. The track was not good here, and all the crowd and the people, the family, the fans, it's just unbelievable how many people we have here. And the sponsors are here, you know, you have to give your best. We always give our best, but this is something special for us, and so, yeah.
Is it a lot more pressure as well, Dennis, for you with all your friends, your family, everybody here, or is it just like a lot of fun?
No, it's a lot of fun, but yeah, it's also something when everybody is here, you want to give your best, like Timo said, and also something. My girlfriend, she always has been here, but 3 weeks ago we got a baby, a little girl. So it's something you're thinking about your girls, and I mean now I have 2 ones, and it's really a good thing if you are in your home race and you have a baby, it's the best feeling in your life, and also when you can make your hobby and give your best on the track.
How quickly do you think you can run this weekend? Is the heat going to give you a big problem?
Yes, it is. Yes, in the first qualification run we ran a 5:42 with a pedal job, but the problem is the heat. We had 41 degrees yesterday, so you can really feel it that the engine it needs power, you know, and you can't get it from 41 degrees. So, but we are working on it. But I don't think you will see any 520s this weekend.
Everybody says the track's been perfectly prepared, but the heat's stopping us getting the best out of it. Is that about right?
Well, honestly, I think we had not that situation here with that heat, how we had it yesterday. And I know from different countries like Qatar and Dubai, they run only in the night if you have that kind of heat on the track. So I can't tell really what's difficult or what's wrong, because I couldn't find the setup either here. So I hope to do something in my last run, but it's tricky to run, I think. If the track gets too hot, the problem is there's a point. If it's too cold, it's not good. But if it's too hot, it's not good as well. So there's a medium point between like no more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit for the track. If it goes like what we had here yesterday to 125 or 130, this is way too hot, and then the rubber on the track, it starts to be like you peel it off with the tire, so it starts sticking on the tire, and it gets slippy then. It gets slippy on top of the rubber, so the traction goes down then. That's the problem.
What can you do to the car to help that, if anything?
Yeah, well, what we want to do is, so we want to take power out and we want to take clutch out. So normally, if you go really serious fast, you try to slip the tires slightly faster over the track, that you don't get any tire shakes. So this is the key to go really fast. But if you can't do that, you have to go back to the normal ground setup. So that the tires are not slipping, that you let slip the clutch a little bit. You know, that you don't get any tire shakes during the run. That is also the problem we had here right now.
Here in the pits with Jürgen Nagel from Germany. Jürgen, your home race at Hockenheim, very, very important weekend. You've got lots of friends, family and sponsors here.
Right, you're right, Darryl. So we have to do, maybe we can do our best for the people here and for the spectators, and for Classic Oil as well, our main sponsor. But you know, the problem is the heat. That's a big major problem in the moment. So we have to set up the car right for this problem in the moment. So, but we try our best.
Good. And how has everything been going this year? Because you've got a new combination with the car as well.
Right.
It must be tough to learn, especially in this weather.
Right. Yeah. That's the main thing in the moment, to set it up. We start in Thunderport, but we do good. I mean, it works from the beginning good for us. We went to the finals against Leaf and had big tire shake and broke a lot, and we have to fix it, and now we try it again and go up with the setup, and we will see what happens. I mean, it's pretty difficult to set it up in this weather condition.
Qualifying for the biggest of our FIA classes here at Hockenheim this weekend, Pro Modified, the wild door slammers. None more wild than Mats Eriksson's car, as you can see. Still the repair job showing quite well from last summer's tag with the wall back at the main event at Sansepod. Since then, though, Mats has been on a very, very upward trajectory. And this weekend, this was the final pair in qualifying alongside Mickey Gallquist. Now, Mickey Gallquist was number 2 in the championship last year. A little way down this summer. He's got a lot of ground to make up. Mats Eriksson, though, is number 1 after some really, really good performances this summer. They both tried to step it up for this last side-by-side qualifying run. Well, they both get through first and second gear really well. Mats Eriksson out in front. That was a side-by-side 6.1, and it was Mats Eriksson that came out on top. Mats, #1 qualifier last year at Hockenheim. You did it again, and a great side-by-side run with Mickey as well.
Yeah, it seems like it's our turn to do something good just now, and it feels good. I have a fantastic crew, and the car works good, and it feels very, very comfortable to drive the car.
On to top Methanol Funny Car. Leif Andressen, you're not seeing things. That was a Monte Carlo at Santa Pod. It is now a Dodge. That was after a fairly hefty accident up at Tierp in Sweden. And Leif did an awful lot of work and the team to get the car ready to come here to Hockenheim this weekend. Alongside Jürgen Nagel in qualifying. Leif made all the hard work worthwhile with a #1 qualifying effort at 5.92, 390 kilometres an hour. Leif, #1 qualifier, you repaired the car after Tierp. Just how much work have you done to get back to this point?
We actually what we did, we counted the hours for the whole team, and we're up to 1,200 hours from the crash till we ended up in Finland. So that was a lot of work, and of course the biggest problem is all the shipping stuff back to US to repair them, as the heads and so on, and then ship them back to Europe again. And it was exactly on the minute we left the boat, with the ferry, then the stuff showed up at the ferry.
Not so many cars here this weekend, but you're still on track for the championship, which I know is what you want.
Oh, that's one of the reasons we're down here, because Hockenheim, it's Hockenheim, it's a lot of spectators, and we have our sponsors, of course, they are down here as well. They have a German company, and we love to be here, and I hope we'll have more cars next year.
Next up, the home crowd. It was the side-by-side race of the weekend so far in Top Methanol Dragster between the Haberman brothers, Dennis and Timo. Dennis is with the silver car on the far side of the racetrack. Timo is in the lead lane with the gold car. That's a bit of a leftover from a few years back when Timo was #1 in the championship, hence the gold, and Dennis was #2, hence the silver. They were both running very, very strong this weekend. They had a great outing at the main event. Dennis got to the final. Unfortunately got bulbed before he got a chance to run. Could they do a little better here at Hockenheim, their home racetrack this weekend? They put on some great side-by-side runs. But getting the better of the two brothers was Timo, 5:38. Timo, obviously you had tyre shake yesterday, but no problems in that last qualifying run. 5:38, quickest run of the weekend.
Yeah, I know. The thing was we have worked with the clutch a little bit more and make the engine a little bit more power in, and for that temperature, 5:38, really good, I think.
It was a fantastic run for a blown car in that weather, wasn't it?
Yeah, all the runs I did this year was with a pedal on the run, and this was the first run without a pedal. And looked good, felt good.
So if it cools down a little bit, how quick do you think you could go?
Maybe a low 30s, maybe high 20s, but yeah, not faster.
So you're going to save the 5.1s for Santa Pod in September, maybe?
You say it, hopefully.
On to the kings of the sport. Top Fuel #1 in the championship so far this season is Miki Kagarad from Sweden. He won up at Adastaro in Finland. The crew doing a great job. All of the Top Fuel cars actually this weekend at Hockenheim really did well. They were very, very close in qualifying, which goes to prove track conditions great. Obviously the weather was a bit hot to say the least, but everybody really on top of their game. So this is Mickey's run that he took to #1 with a 4.22. Mickey, your #1 qualifier in Top Fuel. You're defending event champion, you won the event last year. Are you thinking of moving to Germany?
This is my favorite track, of course. It has been since I rode the Alcohol Funny Cars, so I have won a lot of races down here, and I hope to win tomorrow also, of course.
And you're #1 in points as well, so the extra bonus points from qualifying #1, 2, all that must really help.
Oh yeah, it's really tight, so every point counts, and I was unhappy to not have any points from the last session here. So, but anyway, #1 is good.
Down here on the start line in Hockenheim with promoter Keith Bartlett. Keith, one of the best shows in drag racing. Great to be back here at the Hockenheim. The track looks fantastic as well.
Yeah, I mean, you remember last year we had a few problems with the track, so we worked very hard over the last few weeks. We've had our own track crews from England working with the track crews from Hockenheim. I think we've really got the track really, really good. Sadly, I can't believe I'm saying this in drag racing, the weather's too hot. So we haven't got the optimum level we thought we'd have got out the track. Nonetheless, it's been absolutely brilliant runs. Track's held up through what I think was probably 130 degrees heat maybe today. Should have been 20 degrees lower. We'd have had just an awesome killer track, to use a drag racing expression. But it's been really good. What I've really been pleased with, we've seen lots of real close side-by-side races in all the classes. Though it's qualifying, side-by-side, the crowd have loved it. Good for television, so all in all, an extremely good day at Hockenheim Ring.
Welcome back to race day here at the Hockenheim Ring. You can see the stands filling up with spectators for what's going to be a great, great day's action. For the first time all weekend, we've got nice cloud cover. It's really, really cool. Perfect racing conditions. Let's get on with the action.
This year, with what the Hockenheim Ring have done, it's made a massive difference because you've got a very smooth surface. The work hasn't been purely by the people that you see running around with tractors and glue and gold dust and all the various chemicals and bits and pieces that goes into making a racing surface that will work. But there's a bunch of guys in the background that work for the Hockenheim Ring who have ground certain areas of the track to make it as smooth as possible. In doing so, that's made it our job that much easier in order to apply rubber to the surface. When you've got a smooth surface, the whole tyre's on the ground, which means that the vehicles are going forward. They're not spending half their life in the air, so to speak. So, as I say, with the glue and with the gold dust, with the sledding and 3 weeks of work, that's what goes into making a racetrack that we have today. The cleaning up, it doesn't matter where you are, it's always difficult, but the biggest problem that you have with that is it's not just cleaning up the problem, be it oil, transmission fluid, whatever it might be, but it's then creating a parity between the two lanes. Each rider and driver that comes round expects that the lanes to be as close as possible as they can be, because then you have a fairer race based on those grounds. So that's the difficult part, trying to bring the track to the same levels and maintaining that level as well. That's, I guess, the hardest part.
On to Pro Modified Eliminations. Matt Seriksen was your #1 qualifier. He got a bye run in the first round by virtue of Norbert Schneider braking, unfortunately. In the second round, he got a bye run by virtue of the way the ladder works. So the team were going to try something out, see if it would stick, but unfortunately, tyre shake just off the start line. Doesn't matter because he's going to get the win light anyway and move on into the semi-finals. Next up should have been Tero Laukkanen. That's him there with the Turbo Mustang up against Roland Boletta from Switzerland. But unfortunately, Roland had problems. Tero would get a freebie, a tune-up run before the semis. Nearly makes it off the line cleanly. Tyre shake about 100 foot out. And that's off just before the finish line to go through with a 6.94. Well, another bye run. Mickey Goldquist was due to race Jean Doulemont from France. Now, Jean took his first ever FIA round win
or elimination round win, I should say, in round one, but had engine problems after that. So Mickey G gets a tune-up run for the semis. Unusually for Mickey, he hasn't set low ET so far this weekend. He did have tyre shake on that launch and goes through with only for him a 6:36. So we've got 3 of the main contenders through to the semis. The last one to take his shot at getting there is Bruno Barda, far side of the racetrack with the Gotham City Corvette, up against Håkan Persson. Great to see Håkan joining the FIA Tour in Pro Modified with that really, really cool looking Dodge Viper. He's run pretty well so far through qualifying. Got a personal best down in the 6.1s, so he could be a match for Bruno Barda in this race. But Bruno's been consistently in the 6.1s this weekend, whereas Håkan Persson's best has been around about a 6.3. Thing is, though, when the light goes green, it doesn't matter what you've run before. It's all about what you run right there and then. So this is as close as Bruno gets to a home race. Whereas for Håkan Persson, it's about as, well, far as you can get from a home race, to be honest with you. It's a fair old trek down from Sweden to race here in Germany. So we've already got the semi set up. Max Eriksson takes on Tero Laukkanen. This pair will decide who races against Mickey G. Almost dead even off the start line, and Bruno is train lengthening him already. Look at that, goes through with a 6.18 to Håkan Persson's 6.33. So these are the semi-final races coming up in Pro Modified. Max Eriksson first to do the burnout with the Green Goblin. Well, I say burnout, that was a very short burnout, whereas Tero Laukkanen with the turbo car there really smoking in the start line, which is one of those things that always goes down very well with the appreciative German crowd. Now, Tero, at the last event on the tour in Alastaro in Finland, his home race, went through the finish line 253 miles an hour, pulled the chutes, and it ripped the parachute mount off the back of the car. Sent the car into the sand. Fortunately, Alastaro is a very, very long racetrack, but he went all the way off the end of it, spun the car out, filled it up with dirt, sand, all sorts of things. Not only the car, but the engine and everything else as well. Tero and his team really didn't know whether they were even going to be able to continue for the rest of the season until they surveyed the damage. Fortunately for him, the car was absolutely fine. Took an awful lot of cleaning, though. New chute mount welded on the back of the car. He's been doing pretty well this weekend here at Hockenheim. Mats Eriksson's son, Lars Johaug, giving him a G-up like he needs it before he goes into stage in this race. 2 very different staging techniques with a blown car and a turbo car. Here Tero Laukkanen bringing the revs up. Well, Tero Laukkanen's car quits after about 60 foot. No such problems at all for Mats Eriksson. 6.18. Books himself a place in the finals. Another consistent 6.1 second run. Tero, his weekend ends with a long trip back to Finland. As we move into the other semi-final race. This is one of those races that you can look back on at the end of the season and think, that could be where the championship was decided. Very, very hot here in Hockenheim throughout the whole weekend. I know we've mentioned it before. I think the race day was the coolest of the 3 qualifying and elimination days, and it was still 37 degrees. So it was fairly tropical, to say the least. Mickey G, though, not on his usual great pace. He hasn't got low ET so far this weekend, which in itself is a strange thing. Whereas Bruno has been knocking out 6.1s, one after the other after the other. Mickey Gallquist has run in the 6.1s, but he hasn't done it so far on race day. Both of these guys have been around quite a while. Mickey Gallquist almost since the inception of Pro Modified in Europe. They really do know what they're doing. This should be one hell of a race. So Bruno is the closest to a home race he will get. Dead even off the start line. Mickey Gallquist starting to pull out a lead, and he takes the win with low ET of the weekend by a bunch at 6.01. Bruno was consistent with a 6.19. So your final for FIA Pro Mod in Germany will be an all-Swedish affair between Mickey Gallquist and Mats Eriksson. Top Methanol Dragster semis, Timo Habermann, by virtue of being #1 qualifier, gets a bye run. The crew really have got the car set up perfectly for the Hockenheim quarter mile this weekend. Timo knows how to win here as well. That's his dad, Werner. Team Patriarch and tuner of both the cars as well. Well, they kind of all do it together, to be fair. Timo, his dad, his brother, they all kind of do everything as a bit of collective, and man, does it work. They are the quickest and fastest cars in the world with that type of power plant, which is an Arius Hemi that they've got in the car. When they put the PSI blowers on last summer, wow, did they take off. He's been down in the 5.2s. Going to be tough to run that sort of number here this weekend in Top Methanol Dragster, but he's going to give it a good go anyway. 5.44, 418 kilometres an hour, books his place in the final. Very appreciative round of applause from the crowd as well. On the other side of the ladder, the non-German in the field from Sweden, Johnny Lag with the A Fuel Dragster, the injected car, the yellow car on the far side of the racetrack. Now, Johnny was around in the old days, if you like, of what we used to call Pro Comp, when dragsters and funny cars raced each other back in the 70s and 80s. It was a great class, it really, really was, but unfortunately these days things have moved on. You can't run them together because they're just so, so different. Great to see Johnny back. The injected cars, though, because they run on nitro, are very difficult to tune when the weather gets very hot, because you can't add more, you know, there's no pressure forcing anything in. As a result, they do tend to drop cylinders, which happened a lot to Johnny in qualifying, unfortunately. Did put down one or two pretty good runs, not quite where he wanted to be. Alongside Dennis Habermann, the home crowd definitely cheering for the silver dragster in the near lane to make it an all-German final in TMD. That's Christer Johansson guiding Johnny Lag into stage. Christer used to own this car, and Christer again was one of those guys, funny enough, used to race against Johnny all those years ago. Christer gives him the thumbs up for a place against Dennis in the money round. Well, away almost dead even, but you can see Dennis powering in front. Johnny Lag with a great run at 5.60. Didn't quite get round Dennis at 5.52. So it is a dream final for that man there, Werner. And all the German crowd. Timo against Dennis Habermann. Johnny Lag did put up a pretty good fight in that round, though. We're on to round one for the kings of the sport. FIA Top Fuel Dragster. They have been so good this weekend. Absolute stars of the night show as well on Saturday night, as you saw in some of the clips earlier. Really put down some storing runs, but this is all about racing. It's all about FIA points. And this pair, either of them, really do need points to move up in the series. Near lane, Liam Jones from the UK, his debut season in Top Fuel Dragster, doing very well indeed. He's running the 4.0s so far, which is pretty stout for someone that had never driven anything quite this fast. He's having a whale of a time as well. He's up against his Runefjeld Racing teammate on the other side of the track, Jari Halonen with the Sisu Top Fuel car. Both of these guys were absolutely neck and neck. Both went 4.25 in qualifying. As heads-up races go, this is really a pick and race. Even though they're for the same team, or they race for the same team, it's all about who gets the setup right on race day. So Liam with the bomber car with an absolutely fantastic paint job on the side of it as well. Pre-stage lights are on. Simultaneously, full stage, Jari Halonen breaks the blower belt. Looks like a little bit of tyre spin and a belt off for Liam Jones. Well, now it's time to see all that theory put into practice. Near side the racetrack, Urs Erbacher, you just heard from the American tuner on his team, John Stewart, about the way they have to finesse a Top Fuel Dragster down a racetrack. Doesn't sound like there's much finesse with a Top Fuel Dragster. 8,000 horsepower does tend to have a fairly apocalyptic ring to it, but they're very fickle things. They are tough to get down the track, and you don't just put 8,000 horsepower down all in one go, because you will just go nowhere. It just turn the tyres, go straight up in smoke. This is a very important race as well in the points chase. Stig Neergaard got his eye on the championship this summer. Been clocking up a lot of points in qualifying as well, because you get qualifying points depending on where you run in each session. Stig been doing very well at that. Got to the final at the main event. Unfortunately for him, went out in the semis at Alastaro, looking to make a big move here this weekend in Hockenheim if he wants to have any chance of the title at the end of the summer. So, Switzerland, Urs Erbacher. Denmark, Stig Neergaard. Oh, Stig smokes the tyres. Urs's car eating itself up, as we call it, all the way down. That didn't look pretty at all, but it's a win light. That's the most important thing. It looked like something came off of Stig Neergaard's car, and then he smoked the tyres. There we go. All over the place. Urs keeps his foot in it and gets the win light. Next up, on a bye run, Mickey Kagerad. He gets this by virtue of being #1 qualifier. Slightly odd lot field, but tough nonetheless as well. They were all within a hair's breadth of each other. Everybody was. But it was Mickey and the team that did the, just by that much, best job of getting down the racetrack. So by virtue of that, he gets this bye run, which is effectively a tune-up run for the semis. Reaction time, nothing to write home about, but it doesn't matter. Mickey goes all the way through with low ET of the weekend so far, 4.20. Last race, round 1. Duncan Micallef with the Manta Top Fuel car. Duncan is from Malta, the lady in the near lane. There we go. The Bionic Chicken from Finland. That's not Anita, that's the car. They are chicken farmers from up there in Finland. A nicer bunch of people you could not wish to meet. That goes through the lane, actually. This is the next of Runefield's cars that you're going to see, piloted by Duncan Micallef there. Anita Merkula has been really on a tear since Santa Pod, but she's not #1 in points. In Finland at her home race, she got eked out, and I really do mean eked out by a few thousandths by Liam Jones, his first ever round win, and it happened to be against Anita, would you believe? Anita's another one of those in the championship hunt, gets the thumbs up from her crew, needs to do really, really well, not only in this race, but this afternoon here at Hockenheim. Gets the thumbs up from her crew chief, Sammy, and it's on into stage, but she's got to get round Duncan first. Full stage, here we go. Oh no, Anita with a big fireball off the start line. Duncan looked like he dropped cylinders all the way down, but he gets there first. Anita, another shock in round 1, is out. This must be like Christmas for Mickey Kagerad. All of his main contenders have gone out in round 1. He's through. What a horrible end to the weekend for Anita and the team. You can see it hydraulic at the hit of the throttle. You got to feel for him. So, a lot of work's gone on between the first round and the second round. And we're back again with the semis of FIA Top Fuel. Duncan having a much better weekend. He didn't qualify in Anastaro, so anything's got to be better than that, really. Into the semis, and he gets the dubious honour of racing the #1 qualifier and points leader, Mickey Kagerad, with the Barco Express Top Fuel car. But the team do seem to have that car on a rail this weekend here in Germany. He set low ET in round 1 with that 4.20 run. I can't imagine the team are going to change too much. The only difference is, believe it or not, between round 1 and round 2, it's actually got warmer. So it's always hard to pick up the pace when the sun comes out, puts a lot of heat into the racetrack, which sounds like a good thing, but when you're making 8,000 horsepower and it's 36, 37 degrees, not the easiest thing in the world, because black tarmac and rubber tend to soak up heat quite a lot, makes it very tricky. So Duncan or Mickey for the money round in Germany. Duncan's car drops a bunch of cylinders on the left-hand side at the hit of the throttle. Mickey with another beautiful clean run. Stop me if you've heard this before. Low ET of the weekend, 4.18, takes out Duncan's 4.54. See in replay, the car on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see all that smoke coming out. Those are cylinders that aren't firing, which means it's not running at full power. Duncan's out. Well, Mickey Kagerad's enjoying himself tremendously on one side of the ladder. Let's see who races him in that all-important final round. As much of a hometown race as you can get for Urs Erbacher. Just lives just down the road in Switzerland. It's not only a couple of hours for him and his team to get to Hockenheim. Their hospitality setup is absolutely out of this world. 2 massive trailers, lots of people. Brings a lot of fans in as well to this event here in Germany. Up against Liam Jones. Now, Liam's never been further than the semis at an FIA race. I mean, it's his first season, give him a chance. But at the same time, the car's running very, very well indeed. He was in the 4.2s in qualifying. Both didn't have perfect runs in their first round wins. So it's anybody's guess who's going to be facing Mickey in the final in just a minute. That's Gary Page, long-time Nitro driver and crew guy, guiding Liam in. So the young guy or the old guy? Those will kill me for saying that. Here we go. well. Both cars not running completely on form, and it's Urs takes the win on a whole shot. 4:39 to 4:38. They were both a little off elapsed time-wise. But Urs, by virtue of driving, age and experience beats youth and exuberance. Mickey against Urs in Top Fuel. Time to get ready for the Pro Modified Final. I know I said this earlier, but this could well be one of those races that at the end of the season you look back and you think that was where the championship was won and lost. These two guys from Sweden have been almost dead even up to the semis this weekend, and then Mickey Gillquist put clear daylight between him and everybody else. Elapsed time-wise anyway, he went way down into the low 6.0s. Quickest Max Eriksson's run is a 6.1. But it's all about who does the best job in the final. Mickey Gillquist, like I said, he's had a pretty good season, but not by his own high standards. He's had low ET of just about every event, almost without any trouble. But so far in Germany, things haven't gone his own way. Mats was #1 qualifier. Mats is leading the points. Mickey Gillquist needs to do well and win this. Whatever they found in the car before that semi-final run obviously made a massive, massive difference. But don't count out Mats and the team as well. They won the main event. They got to the semi-finals in Alastaro. Now it's on with the final here in Germany as well. Track's been really good all day. Even though it's been hot, it's held up fantastically well. The whole team, Jerry Lucky, his whole crew, and all the guys that have been helping him from Santa Pod, as we've mentioned before, it's been absolutely perfect. So these guys get to race for it. Good and proper heads up for the biggest trophy of the day in Pro Mod. That's Mats Eriksson's son saying, "Go get him, Dad." Mickey Gillquist's crew do the same with him. So both light the top staging bulbs. Just a little bit further on the two-step. Mickey Gillquist gets a whole shot, but only slightly. And he train lengths Mats Eriksson, I say train length, car length, down the track, 6:03 to 6:13. Mickey Gillquist back where he wants to be, in the winner's circle. You can see in replay, no sign of shake, no sign of problems at all. Mickey, you didn't qualify #1, but only just, but you really found a good race day tune-up today.
Yeah, we were struggling in the first couple of days, and but we found it today. It was all coming together after the first couple of runs. So I felt before the finals that we had a good shot on doing something.
Well, Mickey has moved up in the points, but only to #3. He's not that far behind Bruno. Mats Eriksson still with a roughly 50-point lead over everybody else. Time for the money round in Top Methanol Funny Car. Actually, if you've got a Methanol car and you're from Germany, you're doing pretty well this weekend. We've got Jürgen Nagel here in the final in Top Methanol Funny Car, and then there's an all-German final with Top Methanol Dragster. Standing in Jürgen's way will be the #1 qualifier and current points leader, Leif Andreasen, over there with the DSAB Dodge. You've heard all about Leif's torrid summer so far, but that's what champions are made of. Okay, it didn't go right. He did crash the car, but worked really hard, got it back together, and still managed to carry on. I'd say like nothing changed pretty much, but he's still top of the pile. This final round race will determine just how much of a lead Leif Andreasen has over everybody else. It might be unassailable, it might be quite catchable, but we're just about to find out. That's his crew chief and long-time crew chief, Frank, just closing the escape hatch on the top of the car. That's just in case, hopefully it never gets used, but just in case the car catches fire. Those cars are fairly closed in. That's the driver's means of getting out quickly, just in case the body can't be raised for any reason. So, who's going to go home with a win? Is it going to take a short trip to Germany or a long trip to Sweden? We're about to find out. Nudging into stage. They're going to bring the revs up. We're around about 5,000 RPM. You can hear those engines screaming at the top of their voices. Pretty close off the line, but problems for Jürgen Nagel. And Leif goes through with a 5.89 second win. He's way out in front in the points now after that one. Crew looking very happy with their weekend's work. I'm sure Leif is as well. Leif, you won the main event. You've now won Hockenheim. Not a bad season apart from the crash.
Oh no, we got back pretty fast with the help of the best crew you can get, and of course the sponsors have been incredible helping us out, because it cost us near to 60,000 euro to get back to Finland, and we're here winning the race as well. So now we're really hunting for the championship. I'm going to make the sponsors proud, and mama and daddy.
Well, I think he's made them proud already, to be honest. Nearly 100-point lead at the top of the charts in Top Methanol Funny Car over last year's champ, Johan Lindberg. Top Methanol Dragster, side-by-side final, Harberman Brothers. Stop me if you've heard this before. This is going to be a great race. And side-by-side burnouts as well, just to cheer the crowd up even more. Thousands upon thousands of them have been here to not only enjoy themselves, but obviously support all the German racers. And they've really done them proud over the whole weekend. So, up to this point, Timo ran 5:44 in round one. Dennis ran 5:52. In qualifying, they had a number of really great side-by-side runs. Obviously, it was Timo that was, you know, top of the tree with a 5:38. 5:38 really is a fantastic run in these sort of weather conditions. It's really, really difficult to get any kind of aspirated engine, whether it be a blown car or a normally aspirated engine or a carburettor one, whatever it might be, to run well in these conditions. The corrected altitude was huge by comparison to what we've seen, which saps horsepower from these engines. Add to that the fact that the track is very, very hot indeed. Still very good, but it's very hot, which makes it more difficult to get the right tune-up for it. Makes what these guys have done all the more impressive. So, who is Daddy going to love most today? That's Werner, just running away to watch his boys roll into stage one more time. Away, almost identically to 0.02 of a second in the far lane by about that much. It's Dennis with a 5:43 to his brothers. In fact, that's almost a dead heat. Dennis, could it get any better than this? You've just become a father, you've got a new little girl at home, and you've just won your home race and beaten your brother.
After you said that, I got some sparkles here. No, but that's really true. I mean, that's the most important thing. The baby is okay, everything is good. The team took a win, first place and second place. It was so close between us. Yesterday we made 3 runs together. One time on the qualification, it was just 10 centimeters in the finish line. He won, you know. Now this time I won, but I think, I don't know the time slip, but it should be also something about 10 centimeters or something. We didn't know who won, but now we are really happy. I mean,
that's always the best way to be. Last question, are you now going to change gold and silver cars around? Because you had the silver car, you had the gold car.
No, we don't.
He's the older one.
Well, at the moment, though, it is Dennis in gold medal position. Timo is in second. Johnny Lag, third in Top Methanol Dragster. So, the final race we're going to be showing you here today from Hockenheim, FIA Top Fuel. This event is named after these cars. It's called the NitrOlympx, and for very, very good reason. All these fans down here in Germany, and there are many tens of thousands of them that show up at this race over this weekend, love Top Fuel racing. One of the most amazing amphitheatres in the world to watch any kind of racing, but especially drag racing. You get really, really close to the racetrack and get a full pelt of nitro in the face of 16,000 horsepower. These two cars as are going to be leaving the line in just a few seconds' time. Erzurbacher for Midland Oil and Victory Motorcycles. His crew chief Robin Grice leans into the car. Hasn't had that great a setup on race day, but in the night show last night they made a beautiful run, so they know that they can do it. Just a case of pulling it out right now when it matters in the final. But the man on the other side of the racetrack's had low ET of every round of racing. Low ET of the weekend, #1 qualifier. I'm obviously talking about Mickey Kagerad. For all the money, let's go. Bang on time, both of them. Urs is slightly in front, but unfortunately looks like the blower belt. Let's go. Mickey Kagerad.
Mickey, you came into this weekend as points leader, but like I just said, #1 qualifier, low elapsed time of every round. Can it get any better?
No, it can't. No, this is my favorite track, of course. I have won a lot of races here, and I like it here. And the race car like it here also.
You're in the lead in the championship going into the last 2 races. The next race is another one of your home races back in Sweden. Is it a lot of pressure now you're in front, or would you rather be making it up?
No, I'm too old for that one. But of course it's a little bit pressure, but I have never won in Sweden at the Tierp, so it could be a good thing to win in Tierp also.
With 2 rounds of the championship to go, Mickey Kagaret has a lead. It's not unassailable though. Anita Merkula and Stig Niergaard going to try and do their best to hunt him down. Wrapping up the show for all the very appreciative spectators is side-by-side jet cars here in Germany, capping it off with a flame and thunder show.
Well, what a fantastic finale to a great weekend here at Hockenheim. It's been a wonderful weekend for the championship. Both FIA and FIM are so close going into the last race in September at Santa Pod. We'll see you all there.